Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, November 9th. It is 6:19 right now. Market's going to open in about 11 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, a few more things here. It's good. Good. One last thing. All right, looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Sent out to the rest of the group. There. 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 All right, guys, as people start to join into the room, I'm going to go ahead and start marking liquidity over here on our liquidity chart. And we'll go from there. So I'll back this up a little bit. Here's our daily chart. I'm going to mark it up from right here. Level right there. 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 Going down to the 8-hour chart. Right there. Going down to the 4-hour. There. Going down to the 2-hour. I just realized. My bad, guys. Let me go back to the daily. Forgot I had it set to only higher highs and lower lows. So let me change that real quick. I thought there was like another one down here, so I'm going to make those adjustments. All right, so market level there. Been testing a lot of stuff outside the session to see what works well, during these types of market conditions. But there's a lot of stuff that actually works. It's just kind of tricky because I don't want to change my game plan. As you guys know, the strategies and the indicators that we use, they're very versatile. So you can use them for a lot of things. You don't have to use the strategies that we typically apply here on the live because there's so many different strategies to use, and they all work. So there's always small variations that we can make to the strategies. Like yesterday, I was kind of playing around with the variation to the breakout, using a couple other tools that I was developing. But I'm just going to keep it simple for now, guys, unless it's super necessary. Like if this market doesn't change within the next couple of weeks, then, I'll start looking into some ranging strategies or some different types of breakout strategies. There's just small variations to what we already apply. However, in order to really last in this trading game, you guys got to understand that the key thing is not to change things. It's to make it like small adjustments to what you're already doing to conform with the current market conditions. So these market conditions right now, I think they're temporary. So I'm going to stick to what we're doing. And then if we have to make some small adjustments, then, so be it. But for the most part, I think we should just stick to the game plan. And eventually the market will start to trend in time. I mean, the main difference we can probably do will probably be making adjustments to TP stop loss, like based off ATR. And then that's probably the easiest thing we can do because a lot of these strategies still work. So if you guys have looked at the momentum pullback scalp and the high-low scalp V2, they all work. It's just the ATR needs to be slightly adjusted, and it needs to be kind of changed due to the spread and the volatility in the market. But anyways, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, November 9th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity is going to be down below over here at 34,199. So this is going to be the closest lower level of liquidity. It's a weak liquidity, so it's not very strong. I probably recommend only going for 100 pips if you do decide to take that trade there. Looking above over here, there's a higher level of liquidity. It's a bit stronger. Price level is at 34,315. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. It looks like majority of you guys are here so far. And yeah, market is going to open up in about 5 minutes. So let's see who's here so far. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Maria. Morning, Steven. Morning, Kenny. Morning, everybody. Got liquidity marked up right there. Let's go over to the next chart. I'll leave the pivots open and momentum so you can see where price is going. Let's go over here to the clean chart. So for the clean chart over here, I'm going to mark up 630, which is market open price. And I'm also going to mark up 8 o'clock right here as well. So we've got the clean chart here marked up. Let me go here to the 4 hour. I'll see if there's any zones here to maybe look out for that's close to price. So we got one zone right here. And we got one zone down here. These are the 4 hour zones. Yeah. All right, looks good. So those are the 4 hour zones. Just so we know. Because this is something I've been working on too, just looking at where price rejects off these zones, because typically they do reject off these zones. 4 hours is a pretty strong time frame, so 4 hour resistance, and then down below 4 hour support. So it's not super necessary, but I think it'll be helpful. So when price does come back up there, we can probably anticipate a possible bounce. So we've got that marked up here. Got liquidity marked up, got the clean chart marked up. Our high-low scalp chart over here is ready to go as well. The criteria right there, high-low scalp V2. We've got our main chart over here. I think there was news this morning, so let me check that real quick. News from this morning was over here at 5:30. We had initial jobless claims 4-week average, and continuing jobless claims. There were mixed news right here, so pretty much back and forth. And that was over there at 5:30 a.m. So let me go ahead and mark that up real quick. You can see it's probably one of these crazy candles. Yeah, right there. I'll just label it too. Let's leave it at that. So that's pretty much it. We have more news over here at 6:30. It's going to be low impact on open. So, we'll mark that up. And we have the Fed speaking over here at 7 o'clock. Or the Fed's also speaking at 6:30, and then we have IDB, TIPP, economic optimism at 7 o'clock, and then more news at 8 o'clock. So I'll probably cut out of this live session a little early because we do have another Fed member speaking at 8 o'clock, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when the market here opens. So, all right, guys, we got everything pretty much marked up for the most part. We don't really need a tag for this because we don't really, it's not a big deal. It's just like, it's a level that we'll look for price to come back to. But anyways, guys, market's going to open in about a minute. We've had pretty much everything marked up here. I'll go ahead and mark up today's overall bias. Retail sentiment. Fundamental bias. Short-term technicals, long-term technicals. All right, so looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 63% short. This indicates that 63% of retail traders are currently selling right now, so you typically want to do the opposite and buy. So we have a bullish retail sentiment. Fundamentals here are currently bullish right now as well. They're up 100 points. Short-term technicals, neutral right now. They're pretty much mixed. Long-term technicals are bullish. So retail sentiment is bullish, 63% short. Fundamental bias is bullish as well, plus 100 points. Short-term technicals are neutral. Long-term technicals are bullish. All right, so we got the overall bias set up right there. Market is now open. Here is the opening candle. I'm going to mark this up on pretty much all the charts. Huge candle right there. As you guys can see, there's news right now, or I think the Fed is speaking. Let me check real quick. Yeah, so Fed Bostic is speaking, and then we have the New York Treasury, which is also running at the moment. That's a huge dump. I wouldn't recommend chasing it. So let's wait for it to smoothen out a bit here. All right, prices pretty much dumped down to liquidity right there. I wouldn't take it because the candle was so huge, but it did dump down to liquidity, and it's currently running right now. So liquidity is currently running at the moment. I wouldn't really recommend chasing this move here because the candle is so huge. Yeah, the candle is just way too big right now. I mean, it's probably going to hit, but it's probably going to hit really quick and then pull back. So if you guys took a liquidity push right there, it looks like it already hit TP. So hopefully you guys pulled out in profit already. First level of liquidity is right there. Price went straight to liquidity at that level and blasted right through. If you guys came here early enough, you guys would have known where liquidity was. I marked this up right before we started the session. So first level of liquidity right there, full TP. So if you take the first entry of the day, which is liquidity, full TP right there. It's not an official entry, but it is a strategy that we apply. Not one that I typically like to apply myself because it is a very risky strategy, especially when it's followed by such a huge candle like this. So other than that, there goes the entry right now. Steven's asking, so basically we're only looking for buys for breakout. No, so the bias doesn't matter for the breakout V2. If you're applying the original breakout, Steven, then yeah, you would typically look for that if you're applying the original. We haven't applied that original breakout for, I don't know, since you were gone. So maybe over a year now, we haven't applied that original breakout. People still apply it, but I don't apply it here on the live session. The breakout V2 is a totally different breakout. So if you want to, learn that, just review the previous live sessions. The breakout V2, you're looking for 2 red candles after this momentum signal. So this is actually the breakout V2 right here. It's currently running now. The candle is just too big though, so I wouldn't recommend taking it because it's overextended. But this right here is the breakout V2. So the reason why this is a breakout V2 is because there's a sell signal right here. Market open over here at 6:30. It was a red candle followed by another red candle. When you have 2 red candles following like that, it usually indicates that momentum is going to keep moving in that direction. And that's typically why we have the breakout V2 set up right there. However, price is overextended. You can see how far it dropped from this higher point right here. If you measure from up here down to where price is currently at, price is down 1,150 pips, right? That's a pretty big push. So when price pushes that far, it has to retrace up a little bit at least, right? So, I mean, if you wanted to take the breakout V2, you can probably set a pending order right here and then catch it as it comes back down. This is typically how I would take the breakout V2 if I was looking to take it. I would let price retrace back a little bit. And then if it swings back down past the entry point right here, that's where I would make the entry for the breakout V2. And then I'd probably only go for like a partial if I was going to go for that at all. Because like I mentioned, the overextension is just way too heavy right now. I mean, price might come back down. I mean, who knows? Price might swing back down, but there's no real guarantee that's really going to happen there. So if you guys want to take the breakout V2, you can put a sell stop right there because price is retracing up. So here's the case. If price does swing back up and it comes back down, it's probably going to come back down at least a little bit, right? To hit your TP down there. So if you wanted to do that, you can probably go for like a quick 100 pips and then pull out as soon as price, gets to that lower point. So it's just food for thought if you guys are looking to take something like that. But again, this is kind of a risky area because price is very overextended from where it's currently at. When price pushes more than 1,000 pips, especially on a day where volatility is low, I would consider this a bit risky. But I mean, if you're looking to take the momentum pullback scalp, there's actually, well, it hasn't filled yet, but it looks like the momentum pullback scalp was setting up right there. So yeah, if you guys want to take it for a quick 100 pips, this would be the 100 pip mark. I'll just mark it up right here so that you guys have an idea where it's at. And I'll leave it to where it was earlier, 25, 25. All right, so we're still following this right here. There's no other entries that are currently running right now. Looks like that 100 pips is about to get hit. And my guy right there. Sorry, guys, I followed into that move. It was just too good to pass up. So I'm not going to count that as a trade, of course, but I followed into that move right there because it did exactly what I was mentioning, right? So I said, if price is going to pull back right here, if it comes back to the entry point, you can probably go for 100 pips. And I pretty much just got in really quick, got out. And I honestly, that was a FOMO move, but it played out for my analysis because I had a feeling this was going to play out. And it did exactly that. So if you guys saw my markup from earlier, I said price is going to retrace up a little bit. And then if it came down, it'd probably come down at least enough to hit 100 pips. It might not come down all the way, but come down to hit 100 pips, hit my TP. But due to the spread, it kind of trapped me in that position. So I ended up pulling out manually. So you guys heard that click noise and it pulled me out at 1,500. So at about, it basically gypped me about like 20 pips or so. But yeah, just a quick 10 right there. So this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. Like, you don't have to change the strategies. The things that have to be changed would just be the TP stop loss or just your exit points, because the market conditions here, they're not horrible, but they're not great, right? We're in a ranging market. Like, for example, right here, see how price is now ranging within this area? This is why it was smart to pull out for a partial, because if you held on to it, I mean, odds are price will probably play through and hit your TP, but you don't want to be trapped in this position for too long because it might just continue ranging around this area for a long period of time. So all the strategies we've been using are perfectly fine. The only difference here is that price gets stuck into a range and it consolidates a lot. So you want to make some adjustments to your TP stop loss based on the conditions. The reason right here why I thought price was going to range was because you can see the range started to set up right here on the green candle already, right? Price came down, came back up. It created a range between these two areas right here, the high and the low point. And that's why I decided to pull out for a partial. But you can see here that it still does hit TP right there, full TP for the breakout V2. So if you guys held it for the full move, great work right there. I only took it for a partial. So I got out at about 100 pips where I marked that line right there. So, all right. Yeah, nice. Barack caught it as well. Barack said, took it for a quick 10. Good call. Definitely, Barack. Nice work there. So I'm going to add this to the spreadsheet for the breakout V2. This trade came up at 632. First entry for the day right there. So 11, 9, 23, 632. It was for a sell. It was a win. 250, 1. So the breakout's actually been hitting pretty solid for the past 3 days now. 3 days back-to-back wins right there. $632. So just for the documentation purposes right here, about 100 actually. All right. So there's nothing else available right now, guys, at the moment. I don't think there was a momentum pullback scalp that actually got filled. Actually, there's one running right now, so I'm not sure if anybody saw this, but So price pulled down right here. You see this green candle pulled up to this area. It never pulled up to here, so they never filled the entry. There's technically one running right here. I wouldn't take the entry because, again, like I mentioned, price is overextended, but you can see how price pulled back. This green candle right here pulled to the upside. The entry would have now happened right here, and it already hit TP. So if anybody caught the momentum pullback scalp right there, again, not one that I would personally take because I don't think the market is like fully stabilized yet, but this is a setup for a momentum pullback scalp. So, however, one thing here is that so again, it wouldn't be an entry, just same situation as yesterday because of the ATR. The ATR was actually 14 at time of entry, I believe, or it changed right now to 15. So it was just right on that line. So depending if you took it, I mean, this could have been, for some people, they would have taken it because it was so close to 15. But earlier when I was looking at it, it was actually at 14. So it was at 14 right here on the previous candle. So on this green one right here, it was right at the 15 mark. So, I mean, it just depends on the person. It's fine. If you guys missed it, it's completely fine. This area right here is still not a good area to trade in. So we're going to wait for the market to kind of stabilize here a bit. You can see prices in a bit of a range. Let's go back to our clean chart over here. Let's see the high low. I'll mark up the support down here. So we have a new support right there. We have no resistance yet. This is our clean chart. As you guys can see, price is just ranging down this area again. And we're back into a range, unfortunately, but hopefully it pulls out of this area. All right, you guys see the range there? Pretty much back and forth. It's in this area here. All right, so other than that, there's our clean chart. Price is pretty much just ranging right there within that area. I would probably wait for the next momentum signal to start looking for a momentum pullback scalp because, like I mentioned earlier, price is a bit overextended. So you want to wait for price to kind of retrace back a little bit from where it's currently at. See a little better right there. Other than that, there's not really much else here. We got the lower level right there. I'll just mark up the untested levels here so that you guys can see for any high-low scalp V2s, but there's no entries right now. What we would need here is we would need price to pull down below this area, break below the level, fake out back up, come back down, and that's where our entry would be. Right there for the sell. Hey, Craig. Craig said just managed to log on now. So there was only one trade that came up that I took and a couple other people took, which was a breakout V2. So that's like the only one that you missed. I mean, it was kind of a risky trade, but the setup just played out perfectly. So here's a setup right here, Craig. I actually entered it late, so I didn't enter it immediately. The entry happened right here. When it pulled back right here, I was telling everybody that, they could have put a sell stop right here as price would come back down. I took it for a partial. So the reason why I took it for a partial is because price started to range around this area. So when it pulled down right here and it spiked back up, I just pulled out for a partial right there for 100 pips. However, it ended up coming straight back down to full TP. So this was the breakout V2. If you guys ever plan on taking the breakout V2, this is one way to apply it. I think this is a safer way of applying it. You just wait for the fake out. It's kind of similar to the high-low scalp V2 where price kind of fakes out, but then it comes back for the correction because this kind of allows you to give you some time to breathe. So you don't have to just enter it right away and miss the entry point. Because sometimes it moves too quickly and you miss the actual entry point. So like what I did here is I just waited for price to pull up maybe about 50% of drawdown. And then I put a sell stop right there to catch it on its way down. It's the same thing that we're doing for the high-low scalp V2, guys. The same thing with the situation here for the high-low scalp V2. We're doing the exact same thing, right? We're looking for price to break below, look for it to fake out basically, and then come back down. If you were applying with the original high-low scalp, you would just enter immediately right there, right? Like as soon as price breaks below, that'd be the original high-low scalp. That's why this is a V2, because you're waiting for it to kind of fake out and then come back down. Because you're looking for the exhaustion, right? You're looking for price to come down, and you're looking for the exhaustion to the upside, the retracement. And then you're looking for the retracement to get exhausted and correct back down to where it's supposed to go. So it's basically like a double exhaustion, or more so if you want to go more technical about it, you can just say it's a retracement and then the exhaustion of the retracement into the correction, because it's a bearish trend right now. So obviously, if price comes back down, that's where it's supposed to go. So it's just one way to do it. I know some of you guys are just joining the room, but I mentioned earlier that you don't really have to change the strategies that we're doing. We just have to make small adjustments. We make small adjustments to the TP stop loss because of the low volatility, or we make adjustments where we just wait for later entry time, right? Just like how we're doing here with the high-low scalp V2. So that's pretty much all that that's going on and what we're doing there. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a safer way, especially during a ranging market like this. It's better to wait for the pullback. So even for example, right here, for the high-low scalp V2, I wouldn't mind entering this entry here, even though price is in a range, but I would prefer it to kind of pull back a little bit, like what we waited for yesterday. And then when it comes back down, then I would make my entry. I wouldn't just enter right away. So say, for example, if it pulls back a little bit and it comes right back into entry, I probably wouldn't enter right then and there. I'd wait for it to pull back a little more. So there's a high-low scalp V2 that's currently pending right here, guys. The setup has pretty much lined up here. You can see how price broke and closed below it. Now we're looking for the fake out to the upside. So again, like I mentioned earlier, guys, I want price to kind of fake out and pull back a little bit further higher. I don't want it to just pull back a little bit and then come back down, because I want to be a little bit more safer with my entry points here in case we get caught in some fake outs. So price broke below the structure right there. We're now currently just waiting. So the levels are still there. We're looking for that fake out to confirm right here. Once that fake out's confirmed, I'm going to wait for it to kind of pull back a little more, not necessarily enter right away. If you guys want to enter right away, that's completely fine. That's the original strategy. That's how it's supposed to be applied. But for me personally, I'm going to wait a little bit further. I want to give it some breathing room before I hop into the trade there. So that's the only entry that's currently running right now. There's nothing else that's available. This is the only entry that's currently available at the moment. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to, I forgot to add this to the Discord. Let's move this over a little bit. All right, so price is currently swinging back up right there. If this ends up closing above the blue line, guys, that's going to be opportunity for the high-low scalp V2. If you guys want to enter it right away, you guys are more than welcome to do that. However, for myself, I'm going to wait for it to pull back a little more because I don't want to get in too quickly. So it actually did not pull back, so there's no entry there yet, guys. Yeah, no entry yet. So again, like I was mentioning before, guys, if you guys were taking the original high-low scalp, this would be the high-low scalp entry right there. You could have entered immediately when price broke and closed past structure, or if you wanted to wait for the high-low scalp V2, you'd wait for the fake out. So I mean, it just depends on which one you're looking to apply. So, if you guys are applying the original strategy, again, the original strategy, the regular high-low scalp, it still works perfectly fine. You just have to, what I would probably base it off is I would base it off the lower lows, because lower lows are a lot stronger than the high lows and the lower highs. So anyways, there's still opportunity here for the high-low scalp V2, guys. It hasn't came up yet. We need to wait for that fake out, which hasn't played through. Looks like the next levels of liquidity here hit already. So if you guys saw the levels that I marked up earlier, next level right here got hit. Looks like Maddie over here caught it. So the next level right there got hit. And then there's another level down below right here as well that also got hit. Basically all the levels of liquidity right here all got hit. So if you guys took any of these entries here, full TP right there, next one full TP right there, and next one full TP right there. Since these are all jumbled up into like a bunch of levels, I would probably only take one, since or probably the highest one, because that's typically where you'd make your entry. So liquidity down there all got hit, pretty much full TPs for all of them right there. Other than that, there's just nothing else. So price is bouncing off the 4-hour support now, as you guys can see here on the green chart. This is why I drew this up, because this is very important that you guys are able to see this. Now that price has bounced off the 4-hour support, this is where you want to be a bit careful, because price might climb back up to opening price, right? The correction might happen right here, because the overall bias is bullish this morning. So price might shift back to the upside. So we have the first candle right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this candle right here doesn't break and close past the this level here, then this entry is no longer valid. So it does not look like it's going to set up, which is completely fine. But just a heads up, there's no setup there, so no entry if that becomes the case. So for the momentum pullback scalp, as I mentioned earlier, guys, you probably want to wait for a retracement signal. Once you get a retracement signal, you can look for the correction, and then you look for the next momentum that comes back down. Right now, there's just nothing here to play with because of the obvious. I mean, it's already hit. So for example, here, there's a bunch of entries that came up right here already. So you can't squeeze one out anymore. Depending on which one you wanted to take, there was one that happened right here. And if you even took it later, there was another one that happened right here, right next to it. So there's two opportunities that came up here for the momentum pullback scalp. This momentum signal is no longer useful. It's done now. And you just got to wait for the next setup now. So we want this buy signal to come up. This buy signal is a good thing. The buy signal is going to indicate that we have the retracement, right? We're starting to get momentum back to the upside. If this becomes the case and price continues to climb up higher, then price might push back up to opening price, back to open basically. So other than that, we'll just continue waiting. As we wait here, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up. Or I'll take a screenshot of my profits for the day. It's weird. Not sure why. All right. That's weird. For some reason, my personal account is not executing my trades. I'm running 2 personal accounts right now, guys, so we can change this. All right, well, whatever. Let me just take a screenshot of my profits. Yeah, one of my personal accounts isn't. My Hero FX for some reason is not working. I think I screwed up the lot sizing. All right, so back to the charts over here, guys. So this level is no longer useful for us. New level is going to be down here. So I'll just keep marking up levels that levels that are untested, so that you can identify easily where the high-low scalp V2 entries might be coming up. But you can see here that price is just in a big range right now. There's no buy signal, so with no buy signal, we can't look at any momentum pullback scalps. We need to get that buy signal to close. Once it closes, we'll identify if there's a correction back down, or if if price starts to shift to the upside. If it shifts to the upside, that's completely fine. We'll just get a shift in trend. But if not, then that's fine. We'll look for the correction back down. Right now, there's no entries for any momentum pullback scalps. I'll come back over here once we get a buy signal. As of now, we'll just stick to the high-low scalp V2 chart over here, because this is pretty much the main thing to look at. Our liquidity chart over here, price is so far from the next level of liquidity, so we're not anywhere near. There's another level down here. So this is the next level at 34,107. So if price continues climbing down, that's going to be the entry point. However, if price swings back up, it's pretty far up. The next entry for the buy is going to be up here at 34,315. So this isn't really useful to us right now for liquidity. We'll come back and take a look at this once price drops back down further. Again, the main chart over here, this isn't useful to us until we get a buy signal, so we don't care to look at here for very much. The only thing we can really look at is going to be the high-low scalp V2 here on the 1 minute. Another place I'll look will be the 5 minute over here. We'll see if there's any opportunities that are setting up, because if they are, we can use this as a confluence. So nothing here yet. Yeah, we got a couple levels right here. There's not really too much movement, but we can use this level right here. So on the 5 minute chart over here, if price swings back up, this one can still be used. Or if price comes down lower from where it's currently at, this one can also be used. So I'll just use this as a confluence, using the 5 minute as a confluence here, because, you know, the range makes things kind of messy on the 1 minute, but our entries do happen on the 1 minute. So we'll use a 5 minute here as a confluence, and then we'll keep on going back and forth just to see where price is kind of moving. It's good to see. Here is our clean chart. So you can see over here from our clean chart, price is back into this range. So price is now ranging between the 4-hour support and the 1 minute resistance. This was the 1 minute support before, and now it turned into resistance. So it's now ranging between this area. Like Rashida said, she mentioned want to see a buy signal first. Yeah, I want to see that too. Right here, we still have it pending, so we'll wait for that to close. Once it closes, we'll come back and we'll see if we can use that, because if that's the case, then, you know, price might continue climbing back down. And then we got news in 7 minutes. Thanks, Andreas, for the heads up. News over here at, I believe, 7 o'clock in about 4 minutes now. So I'm going to wait before taking any entries here. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, because there's no entries for us here to take to begin with. Let's see, Jackson said, too many times you've been right about returning to open. I will send prayer and hold a buy till then and pass my FTMO today. I wouldn't necessarily take the buy just yet. Jackson, like, I would take the buy if you get like an abnormally green, like an abnormally large green candle. Because it is at support right here. I mean, technically, I guess you could have taken it, because this huge candle, I mean, this candle's not that huge. You need to see a candle that's like bigger than all the other ones. So see, for example, this red candle right here. If you get a huge green candle like that, like somewhere around this area, then that's going to be the indication that price is probably going to continue climbing. Right? So it bounces off support and you see a big candle like that. Typically, that's what I would look for, because that's going to show you that price is actually correcting back up. Right now, there's no momentum pushing price up just yet, but this is kind of what you want to look for. You want to look for these like crazy big candles. Like if you ever look over here, like, so for example, say for example, like this, for example, right? So price kind of came down, and see how all these candles were kind of small and this candle was really big. In that situation, you could have taken that, and then, you know, this would have went back to wherever it was supposed to go, which is like up there. You just want to look for those abnormally big candles. Those abnormally big candles, usually we try to avoid them because there's a lot of manipulation that happens with them, but you can see whenever they happen. So for example, your price was at this resistance, right? Price pushed up, and then you get this huge red candle right here, right? As soon as you get that, you can see where price kind of consolidates around here, but then eventually comes back down. So you can just ride that down to the next zone. This is similar to my old strategy. So if you guys remembered my old strategy from, like, I used to trade this on the 4-hour time frame. It still works. It works very well. It's called the zone to zone strategy. So you're looking for momentum to push away from the zone, and it pretty much goes to the next zone. And then you look for price to push away from this zone, and it does the same thing over and over and over again. It works on the 1 minute, but you just have to be able to understand, you know, when these come up. Yeah, Rashida said if you wanted to take the buy, you should have taken it off the 4-hour support. Yeah, if you wanted to take like something speculative like that, that's where I would have taken it too. because that's probably gonna be the best area for entry right there. So if you wanted to take the entry, like the bounce off support, and that's why I'll continue to mark up the higher level support. So you could have done something like that too, like what Rashida said, just have a buy limit just chilling right there. And then, have your basically have your stop loss at ATR, maybe double ATR would be better because the ATR is still low. ATR is currently at this point, it was at 15. So you probably use a 30 ATR and you go for like a 2-to-1 for like 60 right there. Or if you wanted to ride it all the way up to open, could have done the same thing. But I mean, your position is looking good right now, Jackson. So if you're in that position right now, I would trail your stop. It's climbing really nice. It's doing exactly what we anticipated, right? So I mentioned this earlier, and it looks like Jackson's prayers are getting answered right here to pass his his FTMO. I would recommend following it with your ATR though. So like ATR is currently at 14 right now. I would put your stop loss 14 points away. So yeah, price is right here. Your stop loss should be right there at the ATR. So basically at the bottom of this current candle, the news candle, and then just keep trailing it up. I'd probably pull out of the position though. It looks like it's going to bounce off this resistance and then come right back down. So again, this is another big candle. So like what I was mentioning earlier, guys, when you guys see a big candle like this, if this candle closes red, I'm expecting this thing to come right back down. So huge candle right here. If it closes red, I'm thinking that, price is pushing back down and it's going to correct back to where the 4-hour support is. Looking at the news candle, let me see where it's at right now. So let's see that news right there for IBD, TIPP, economic optimism. It's still pending right now, but I'm assuming it was negative because it is now correcting back down to the support. Jackson said, I was about to say God is good, but apparently he isn't. The news here, it could affect the trade super heavily. I think if there wasn't any news there, Jackson, it would have been perfect. It would have went straight up. I'm hoping you pulled out in profit already because yeah, whenever you're doing a speculative trade like that, guys, and you guys are just trying to hold on to it to kind of go into a direction, I would recommend chasing your trade with the ATR. So the ATR is basically going to show you how much price moves within like the X amount of candles, right? So if this is how much it's moving, like it's moving 15 points every 14 candles, at least you're going to have that safety net to pretty much catch your position if it ends up flipping on you, like it just did right there. So here we are back in the range. You can see price just got manipulated. Price was ranging right here. It climbed up and then it manipulated back to the original range down here. It just kind of climbed up, building up to news. News happened and then it came right back down. See, news still not released yet. Let me finish taking the screenshot of my profits for the day, guys. What account is this? Okay. All right, so here are my profits for the day so far. I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of my copier. My personal account didn't execute my trades, unfortunately. I got to fix that. I think I kind of screwed up the lot sizing because I added a new personal account to my. I'm testing a new broker. A new broker that I'm familiar with. So, all right, news still is now for IBD, TIPP, economic optimism. So we'll go back and take a look at that when time comes. Looking at current price right now, let's see. All right, so we have a sell signal coming back right here. If this is the case and we get that sell signal, then we may have opportunity for a momentum pullback scalp. The ATR right now is currently at 15. So it's barely there. We would like it to be higher. It's now at 14, so there's actually no entries right now for the momentum pullback scalp again, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll have to work with it and see if this starts to pick up. ATR is back to 13. So unfortunately, it looks like there's no the ATR is too low. So we can't take any momentum pullback scalps here just yet. However, I do have levels over here marked up for the high-low scalp V2. There's actually one that's currently running right now, guys. I don't know if anybody was looking to take it, but there's actually one that's currently, but again, price is in this range. So I will take a look at this, but I won't take it right away. So what I'm going to be looking for here, there's currently one that's active right now, guys, this higher level right here. There's one that is currently active right here. But as I mentioned, I'm going to wait for it to kind of pull back a little bit before I make any opportunity to take entry on here. So we currently have the breaking close below the level. We need price to fake out above, basically retrace up, and then we want it to come back down, right? That's what we're looking for here. I'm not going to enter it if it just closes like really quickly. So like, for example, if it goes up and then comes back down right away, I'm not going to do that, because price is currently in a range and I don't really want to mess with this level right here. So if this doesn't close here, that's completely fine. There's two levels here for two different opportunities for the entry here. I'll try to give you guys as much of a heads up as possible if I plan on entering this trade, which I do plan on taking. I just need to have that set up, really set up the way that I want it to. So try to give you guys a heads up here. Yes, exactly that, Craig. So yeah, the ATR basically gives you an average of like how many candles. You can change the settings. 14 is the default. I think 14 is fine because it tells you pretty much how the market has been moving about like 20 minutes past, right? Because that's where you want to be trading. If it's super low, that means that price is, like, for example, if the ATR is below 15, this means that price is either ranging or consolidating, right? Because it's not really moving far past that level. If it's like about 20, 30, that's good because price just keeps climbing, right? But if it stays low, that's why we use 15 as like the rule of thumb, because if we're going for a 100 pip move, or for example here, a 300 pip move, we want it to at least move far enough to hit your TP, right? So 15 is like is like a threshold, because anything below that, you might just be in some consolidation for like a good period of time. Yeah, Steven, if you're starting to get FOMO, you should just not trade, because that's what's going to screw up your trading psychology. So you should definitely yeah, don't get any FOMO, Steven. You got to remember, there's no time limit for trading. If you're starting to get FOMO, you just need to step away for a bit. You know, maybe, I don't know, go get a drink of water or something. Go walk around your house to just get your mind off like FOMOing into a trade, because you need to wait for the proper entry. If the entry doesn't come up, then don't force anything. But that's kind of what happened with you before in the past, right? It's the FOMO that really got to you, that messed up your account. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys ever start to feel FOMO, either close your MT4 or switch to a demo account. I'd recommend just switching to a demo account. If you still really want to trade, just switch to a demo account, change your login, and then trade on that account until you feel good and confident about your trading. Whenever you take a trade, you want to be confident. You want to be scared and you don't want to get FOMO. So two things that you don't want to feel when you're entering a trade is you don't want to get nervous, you don't want to be stressed out, and you don't want FOMO. Because if you have those three things, you're going to revenge trade and you're going to FOMO into bad trades. You got to have a clear mindset when you guys are trading. You can't be scared trading. You have to like be confident that the trade's going to hit, so that you can pull out, or that you can let it run to TP. Otherwise, you should pull out of your position for as much profit as you can and just wait for the next entry. Because you guys got to remember, it's all about trade psychology, right? The strategies here don't change. They're the same strategies that we've been applying for months now. We haven't really changed anything up in a while. So just keep that in mind. You have to feel confident about your entries. If you ever start to feel scared or nervous, then my recommendation to just be step away, step away, kind of clear your mind a little bit, come back, and then be ready to hit the market. I think that's everyone's problem. Like once everybody gets into that mindset where they start to get FOMO or they start to get nervous, they start to revenge trade. I've seen a lot of people, it's crazy. They like get funded, or they get to their verification stage. The crazy thing with verification, guys, is that that's supposed to be the easier part, right? But a lot of people mess up at verification because they start to get nervous. You're getting like half the profit that you would on the challenge, but people are making these huge mistakes and they start to revenge trade and take, just dumb entries for the most part. All right, so we got a momentum pullback scalp that's starting to set up right here. ATR is currently at 16, so we have this setup over here, guys. Thanks, Maddie, for the heads up. If this closes below this black line right here, this is going to be the momentum pullback scalp entry. If it closes above it, entry is going to be up here. This is going to be the closest. This is going to be the farthest level that price can take entry from. So depending on where this candle closes, the entry is going to be at the nearest black line, which is the level. All right, so it might be this lower level right here, guys. All right, so there goes the entry right there. It looks like it already filled in the position. It's coming down in TP. See where it's at. So yeah, entries right here at the 34,100 mark, guys, for the momentum pullback scalp. The movement here is kind of slow, but it is currently running in profit. I need to follow it because if it hits TP, it might get stuck in it because of the spread. I got to pull out manually. So watching it right here. Just watch the trading view chart, guys, because if it hits TP on here, I don't know what the spread's looking like. Spread's actually 190 right now on FTMO, so it's kind of higher than what it's been in the past. So I'm watching it right here. I'm out, guys. I can't hold on to that position because the thing is moving too slow. It hit TP right there. I don't want to get caught in the spread. So I'm already out in profit. I locked in 1,000 on that trade. Yeah, you guys can't get greedy in a market like this. The ATR is continuously shifting. So the last thing you want to do is get caught in a position there. I'd rather get out and then it still would hit TP right there. But because of the spread, I didn't get pulled out of the position. You guys heard the click there. I got out manually. So it's all good. Locked in right there. Locked in 1,020 off that trade. Steven said he got out made 18. I think you might. What lot size are you using, Steven? You're using a 50 lot? Because you should have made at least 500 on that trade. I'm looking at the numbers here. Oh, okay, so that's even different. So you're using a swing count. You should probably not use a swing count unless you're swing trading, Steven, because your profits are going to be a lot less. But I mean, it's all good. You made profit on it. You're gonna have to increase your lot size, Steven. You're never gonna get fun. You're never gonna get to your verification if you're taking a 5 lot. I think you take like a 5 lot, bro. Because if you take a 50, you should have made 500 or close to 500. You would have made a couple $100. But it seems like you took like a 5 lot. You can't take 5 lots on a 100K account, bro. You're never gonna get funded. You're never gonna pass the challenge. So just keep that in mind. You can't, like I mentioned, you can't be scared trading. I mean, it's okay if this is your first trade, but you can't keep taking 5 lot trades. You're never gonna get funded. It's impossible. Because you got to make at least, what is it? I think 5,000. Maddie said, bro, go get funded in 2027. Bro's gonna get funded in 2027. Yeah, it's gonna take you years to get funded if you trade like that, Steven. I mean, it's all right. You could keep doing that for a while until you feel comfortable, and then increase your lot size because it's never gonna work out. Okay, anyways, let me just give an update here so that you guys can see the difference. So these are my first profits from that first trade. Let me go and just take a screenshot of this right here. This was a pretty good trade, guys. It was pretty solid. Thanks to Maddie over here for the heads up. I wasn't really looking at this chart, but he did mention that the pullback scalp was setting up. So thanks to Maddie for that. Okay, so there's one trade right there. That's one official trade that we took. Entry for today was, I'll just gauge it. Time happened at like 7:09. It was for a sell. It was a win, 100 pips. Momentum pullback scalp. All right. But nice work, Steven. There goes your first win on your brand new account and your return back to the group. So I'm glad that you locked some profit in there. But yeah, let's continue on. All right, so there goes my trade right there. Let's see if there's anything else coming up. So this momentum signal is done with, guys. We now have to wait for another buy signal. So there's no other opportunities here for a momentum pullback scalp. We just got to wait. And this is kind of what I was telling you guys earlier this morning, right? Today's market's actually a lot better than it was for the past couple of days. Our strategies here were perfectly fine. You just have to wait for the market to really give you what you're looking for, which right now we're getting some volatility. Price is still in a range, but we are getting some better volatility, and it's still moving a bit more directional. So for these levels over here, guys, this first level above did not get filled. You can see how price came below. It never came back up for the fake out retracement. For this one right here, we had price break below it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Price never came back up for the retracement here either. So there's no longer any more opportunities for those two levels there. I'm gonna mark up this level right here. So we'll see if price does come back down further. But at the moment, we don't have any entries here for the high-low scalp V2. Let's see, Valentine said, hey, bro, I discovered another sentiment tool that does up to the hour sentiment inside the IG platform. Oh, nice. Thanks, Valentine. So it shows the changes right here. I think it shows that too on the IG, right? Let me check. Yeah, so it does the hourly on there. Nice. Thanks for the heads up on that, Valentine. Maybe I can log into IG, and then I might have to have an IG account. So I'll look into that. But Valentine over here mentioned that on the actual IG platform, they show you how many changes in sentiment has happened within, the last hour, for the day, for the week, for the month, and overall, of course. So that's always good to know. It's good to know so that you can trade opposite of, retail traders. So, all right, guys, other than that, I think that's it for right now. We're going to look for another opportunity here to provide trades, but there's nothing for us right now. So we need to see a buy signal. Once a buy signal comes up, then I'll switch back over to the main chart over here, and we'll look for another momentum pullback scalp. But as of now, we're just going to be looking for possible entries here for the high-low scalp V2. This is the only other opportunity that we might have setting up here. There was also a momentum pullback scalp right here, guys. I'm not sure if anybody saw that, but there was a momentum pullback scalp that came up right here. There was a buy signal. There was 2 red candles. I know this is one of William's favorites. I'm not sure if you commented on this earlier, William. I wasn't paying attention at the time, but there was a momentum pullback scalp, or a momentum counter scalp. Sorry, I get the names mixed up. Momentum counter scalp that came up right here. There was a buy signal that came up at 656. There was 2 red candles. It happened right at news though. So I think that's probably why a lot of people weren't paying attention to any trades around that point, but I will mark it up for our spreadsheet. Entry came up right here at 702. So it looks like pretty much every entry has been hitting today, for the most part. So 11, 9, 23, entry came up at 702. It was for a sell, it was a win, 100. There you go. Yeah, usually William calls the trade out, but he didn't call it out today. Or maybe he did, I just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so pretty much every strategy has hit today, guys. Today's actually been a really good day for the market for us specifically. And it's funny because this morning I just mentioned that, we're not going to change anything up, and the market's gonna adapt to our conditions at some point. And you can see over here the breakout V2 hit full TP. So breakout V2 full TP, momentum counter scalp full TP. There's no high-low scalp V2s that came up yet, but we did have a momentum pullback scalp full TP right there. And then on top of that, we have a bunch of liquidities here that got hit. So every single liquidity that came up today looks like it pretty much got hit. There's one that's currently running right now, this lower level. But everything else pretty much got hit. This one, this one, this one, this one. And there's one that's currently, it's still active right now. So there's another liquidity that's currently running. So it might come back down and refill it and pretty much hit. All right, anyways, guys, no buy signals right now yet. We may have a high-low scalp V2 setting up right here. Again, like I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm not going to take it right away. I'm going to wait for it to kind of pull back a little bit, and then I'll put a pending order as it comes back down. So now we will continue to wait for something else here to play through. All right, I got to take another screenshot of my profits again. Price is starting to come down. So yeah, guys, if you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them up. Like a reminder that I always try to remind you guys of, sharing your profits isn't necessarily to show off. You're not here to show off your profits. What you're doing is you're basically putting yourself accountable, right? You're being accountable for the wins, and you're also being accountable for the losses. You guys have to understand the market's not always going to give you what you're looking for. So if you post up your profits every day in the group, so again, on the Discord chat over here, if you go to your team, the team profits right here, everybody posts up their profits, right? They post their profits, they post their losses. This keeps you guys accountable, because if you guys don't post your losses and you don't post your wins, you're not going to feel good and you're not going to feel bad. You're just going to feel indifferent, and you're never going to really feel that feeling when you feel good about winning days, and that feeling where you feel like you need to learn or you need to do better because you took some losses. Like, posting profits here are really just to keep you accountable, because if you ever go down this list, I never delete any of these profits, right? So if you guys want to see how people were doing on a certain day, or if you want to see how you were doing a certain day, like for example, over here, Kevin took a loss on the 8th and Vince took a loss on the 8th, right? So Kevin's not going to feel bad because he's like, oh, I took a loss, getting caught in a fake out. And he looks up like, oh, Vince also lost too. So, he wasn't totally screwing up. The market was just kind of screwed up that day. You scroll a little further, you see days like on the 7th here where everybody has wins. And you're like, okay, I did good that day and everybody did good, so I must have done something right, right? Same with Allison over here. So sorry, guys, I don't know if I ever gave Allison the congrats here, but big congrats to Allison here getting funded. She's been part of the group for quite some time now. She's had a lot of ups and downs. She's tried different strategies. We had our one-on-one session at some point, and she finally got around to getting funded. So big congrats to Allison over here. She's been part of the group for, well over a year now, probably 2 years. And she's now finally funded with FTMO. So another member here funded. I think every week we get at least like a couple of people who get funded within the group. So it's always good to see people succeeding and doing well, either applying strategies during these live sessions or, trading on their own. So, all right, the setup here just came up for the high-low scalp V2, guys. Again, I'm looking for price to kind of pull up a little bit before I take entry. I want price to kind of pull up maybe to the halfway mark and then come back down. If you guys want to enter right here, feel free. This is going to be the entry point for the high-low scalp V2, but again, I'm not going to enter right away. I'm going to wait for price to kind of pull back a little bit and then take my entry when there's some breathing room there. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said sellers are shifting, buyers are trying to catch the bottom. He wants a bigger fake out. Yeah, I'm waiting for that bigger fake out too. So I want price to pull up a little bit further, and then I'm going to catch it when it comes back down. If you guys want to take it right there, I mean, you guys are welcome to take it. But as I mentioned earlier, these fake out patterns have been playing. This has been happening pretty much all week. And I think you're safer if you enter when price gets a bit higher. So I'm going to wait a little bit. And then I'm going to wait for it to kind of pull back. The ATR is kind of low right now. It's starting to slow down a little bit. And you can see how price is just consolidating around this area. I don't really like this consolidation. I want price to actually push up a little bit and then come back down. So just waiting here for this to how to play through. Let me update my profits real quick. All right, so here are my profits so far, guys, across all my accounts. So my first account right here is my funded engineer, locked in 1,300. This is my FTMO number 1 account, locked in a total profit of 1,370. My second account locked in at 2,540. My third account locked in 2,640. This is my second funded engineer account locked in 615. This is my first personal account locked in 900 or 90. This is my second personal account. I locked in 420, and then my TFF locked in 1,131, and my second TFF 1,131 as well. So those are my profits so far for the day. I took one partial move and I took one full move off the momentum pullback scalp. And now I'm looking to take entry here as well for the high-low scalp V2, but I'm looking for some more retracement. So I need price to retrace up a bit higher. And then I'll put my sell stop there to catch it as it comes back down. So I'm not in this position yet. I'm now just waiting for it to come back down. If it comes back down to fill, then I'll be looking to take it. But again, I'm looking for it to pull back a little bit further. It's still, I mean, it's decent right now, but I'm looking for it to pull back a little bit further. You know, the farther the pullback, the stronger the correction back to the downside. So I'm still not looking to take the entry yet, guys. I don't have my pending entry yet. I don't like how the market's currently consolidating right here. I want it to actually push up and then come back down. Right here, price is just consolidating around this area. Yeah, exactly. Matty said he wants it to pull back a little more. Exactly. Same with me. So I don't like how price is consolidating around this area. This isn't what I'm looking for. I want price to push up kind of sharply and then correct back down super sharply. Because it looks like price is just going to continue to go sideways here. So I have no pending order here yet, guys. And we're still following the original entry. But again, like I mentioned, you know, the ATR is kind of low. So I'm waiting for this to actually pick up and the volatility will start pushing through. Because the problem with this here is that this trade's already been running for, let's see. It's running for about 5 minutes now. It's a long time to hold on to a scalp. You know, 5 minutes is usually the threshold. So it's going to wait here and see how this ends up playing through. The ATR is kind of, so I think if I'm going to go for a TP here, I'm probably only going to go for like 200, guys. Because I try to use the average of the ATR. So like, for example, right here, the ATR is currently at 14. I just rounded up to like 20, either 15 or 20. I think 15 might be a little too tight. So, or I mean, 15 might be good actually. I mean, either way, I'm going to wait. I'm not here to take any entry just yet. Still waiting for this here. Okay, so we currently have another opportunity for a momentum pullback scalp here. So we got a sell signal right here, and we'll be looking for, it hasn't closed yet. So again, I'm still not in the position, guys. I know it's in profit right now, but I'm not in the position. The original position is currently running in profit, as you guys can see. But I'm personally not in this position yet. I wanted it to pull back a little more, which it hasn't. Price is just consolidating within this area. I wouldn't even consider this a range. I'd consider this just straight consolidation. I'm kind of glad we didn't enter in this position because I hate holding on to a position in consolidation like this, especially when it consolidates for like more than 5 minutes. It's been consolidating for too long now. Nice. So Daniel over here said he took it for 10 and he got the F out. Yeah, no, it's probably the smartest decision you could have made, bro, because it's like, yeah, the 100 pips right there hit pretty nice. I'll put a level right there. So the 100 pips hit, and then now it's just consolidating around this area. So I'll mark up levels right here at the different price points if you guys want to pull out. So the 100 pips is right there, 200 pips is right there. Full TP is going to be at the 300 down below. Yeah, Rashida said she tried to close manually at 300, but he gave her 50. Yeah, the spread and the slippage right now is a little crazy. It's shifting. I'm looking over here at FTMO. The spread's back down to 160. Earlier when I took the momentum pullback scalp, it was at 190. So it's changing. Spread's changing, and there's obviously going to be some slippage here because you can see these blocky movements. The trade's back in profit, guys. I'm not in this position, but if you guys are in this position, that's completely fine. I think it's a good position. It's just, I don't like the market movement. And you guys already know what happens when price starts to consolidate like this, right? When price starts to consolidate heavy like this, one of two things are going to happen. You're going to get either really lucky and it's going to spike back down to your stock, your TP, or you're going to get unlucky and it's going to go the other way. So if you guys are in this position, I would personally pull out. It's getting down to 100 pips again. I probably wouldn't hold on to this position. these are the worst market conditions to be trading in. A range is actually decent because you can see how price kind of bounces back and forth in a range. But when it consolidates like this, it's like inching, right? It's inching back and forth. So you're just like 1 second away from the breakout. The breakout's going to happen. There's going to be a breakout following this squeeze here. Price just continues to squeeze tighter and tighter. And then once it's done squeezing, it's going to pretty much explode out of this area here. Yeah, Maddie said the past 9 candles look nasty. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't risk it, guys. You know, this comes from experience of like, well, you guys should have already seen this before. This isn't the first time we've seen a consolidation like this. I wouldn't be surprised if like in like a couple minutes or in a couple of seconds, you just see a random spike, like a 30 pip candle that just comes out of nowhere, right? Like a candle that big, it'll spike like in either direction, to the downside to your TP or to the upside. What I can see right here is it looks like they're just churning traders right now. So looking over here at retail sentiment, I mean, you guys have seen this before too. You can see the retail sentiment starting to drop, right? Earlier this morning, it was at like 63, 64%. It's now at 57. So a lot of retail traders are getting churned in the market. You know, it's going back and forth because they're trying to trap some traders here. They're trying to see where a lot of the traders are sitting. And so for example, here, see how it just changed right now? It changed super quickly, went from 58 to 57 to 56, and then back to 57. Because the retail traders here are getting scared. They're pulling out of their positions because they don't know what's going to happen next. And there goes that big candle I was just telling you guys about. I'm hoping it hits TP, like, because if this hits TP, I can put this into our what's called a spreadsheet, and we can add this to our trades for, you know, our documentation. So I do want it to hit TP. I'm all for it, but I'm not going to be the test subject to see if this actually hits, because it's just a risky area to hold on to. So the 100 pips got hit again right there, got close to the 200. So I'm still rooting for you guys. If you guys are in this position, I'm hoping this hits your TP, but I'm not in the position, so I don't have a stake in this right now. But yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see if it climbs down further. It should climb down further. You guys can see how strong the trend is. If you look over here on the lower time frames, everything's bearish right now. Even the higher time frames, at 30 minutes bearish, 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish. Everything shifted. The bias is no longer bullish anymore. Looking over here at the fundamentals are straight flat. They're actually they're super bearish now. Actually, they're down 100 points. So earlier we had a bullish bias, right? This is now. So I'm going to change this to neutral. Neutral. We're going to change this to like 56. Fundamental bias is now bearish. Negative. Short term is obviously bearish. And for long term, we'll put bearish neutral. So overall bias right now is now currently bearish. It's pretty much shifted. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's dropped so much from opening price right here that it was going to shift to bearish eventually. But again, it looks like there's not really too much going on, guys. I mean, price is still going sideways. So this is way too long of a position. I would never hold on to a scalp this long. At this point, I personally would pull out and profit, guys. Again, it's at 100 pips, so you had opportunity to pull out at 100 again right there. This trade's been running for 12 minutes now. Anything over 5, I start to get a little nervous. Anything after 10, I'm like usually out of the position. Anything after 10 is way too long for a scalp. This is now turning into an intraday position because they could just keep running for like the next, 10, 20 minutes. ATR right now is currently at 13. So the volatility is actually getting lower. And it's just kind of, it's trickling its way down. It's making its way down, but it's making a slow trickle down. So again, I'm still hoping this does hit full TP. But again, I'm not in this position, so I don't have any stake in whatever happens, right? I'm hoping it hits, but not in the position, so I'm not really as stressed of anything right here. I'm just watching it. Yeah, Daniel said he thinks it will probably hit if it touches liquidity again, and it'll push right through. Yeah, where's liquidity at? Yeah, so it's coming back down to retest liquidity down below. It almost got to at that point, the blue one right there, right? So if it hits the blue level right there, it's probably gonna blast right through. pretty much every liquidity has gotten hit today. So if you guys look at every liquidity down here, I marked up these liquidities at the beginning of the session. First level hit, second level hit, third level hit, fourth level hit, fifth level hit, sixth level right here. Once it comes down to that blue level, it's probably going to blast right through. It's going to hit liquidity and it's going to stop out all of the buyers. I'm hoping that's what happens because I want all these buyers to get stopped out anyways. They shouldn't be trading against us to begin with, because a lot of people are trying to catch the bottom, right? It's right at the bottom of the support too. So you know what happens right here at 4-hour support, right? People try to buy the balance. They try to buy the dip right here, and I'm hoping everybody gets stopped out, because once everybody gets stopped out, our trade over here is going to hit full TP. So we're pretty much trading the opposite of a lot of people who trade support resistance. If you know anybody who trades support resistance, they're probably trying to buy right here. I'm hoping they all get stopped out, right? Because their stop loss is sitting right here below the zone. So whoever is trying to trade support resistance right here, if price gets anywhere below this area right here, you can best believe they're all going to get stopped out, right? Because all their stop losses are just chilling right here. So once their stop losses get hit, it's going to hit some liquidity. It's going to blast right through. So it's now at that level of liquidity right there. It hasn't really pushed right through. It needs to get to that red level that's right below it. It needs to drop just a little bit lower. And then I think when it hits that, it's just going to knock everybody out. And this is going to hit its TP. Super, super long hold, but it's making its way down to pretty much knock out all the stop losses down below there. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said this liquidity might blast through and drop. I wanted to shoot past liquidity, then pull back. ATR is currently 13. Yeah, it's super low. So the ATR is super low. This is what I was, so Craig, you know, this is what we were talking about earlier. When the ATR is low, you can see how slow these candles are moving, right? If the ATR is high, you're going to see some bigger, you know, candle movements. So that's why right now we are waiting for this here to hit. There's no momentum pullback scalps right now. Sorry, guys. It's gone over here. Steven said, Sean, I need to buy a new challenge in order to get swing account. I thought you wanted to do a normal account, Steven, not the swing. You're on the swing right now, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can just switch. You have to get because it costs a different amount. So I think the swing account's probably cheaper. Let's see. Daniel said Bitcoin went parabolic if anybody's holding crypto. I actually have some crypto. That's where I get my payouts for my personal accounts. I just noticed right here too. So guys, here's the 5-minute that we were looking at earlier. It actually it didn't fill any of these right here. So there's actually no entries here. I thought this filled right here, but it didn't, because it didn't close below that level. So 5-minute looks fine. Nice. Daniel said a 3K jump in a day. Solid. That's perfect, because I know my Bitcoin is jumping. I got a lot of Bitcoin because every time I make withdrawals from my payouts from HeroFX, I make about $1,000 withdrawal every week. You know, whenever I pass my threshold, that Bitcoin is just growing. So I'll just probably leave it there. Probably just leave it there for now. Hey, Steven, we'll talk after the Zoom. You don't have to talk in the Zoom chat, but I got you, Steven. You can hang out. You don't have to. We're not gonna kick you out of the group just because you messed up on your FTMO account. You're fine. But I'll message you later, Steven. It's not a big deal. I got you, bro. Yeah. I think what you could do too with FTMOs, I don't know if you're in profit. If you're in profit with the account, they might be able to swap it over, but I don't know. It just depends on the person. I think it depends on the person too. Like, for example, if I was to do that, they probably would just give it to me because um, as long as it's in profit, it's not like you made any mistakes or anything like that. Yeah, Maddie said this market's been messing with people's emotions and mindset like crazy. Yeah, no, I agree with you too, Maddie. Um, the thing that I'd probably recommend to you guys is to don't change your strategy, right? We talked about this earlier this morning. Like we were chilling for like a good week, right? Like this whole week we didn't really take many trades. And then this morning, every single entry hit full TP, right? We had and right here the high low scalp V2 hit full TP. Every single entry hit full TP today. So this just goes to show you that if you're disciplined and you don't make stupid decisions and you don't like take dumb trades and you just you completely change your trading style or trading strategy, it's gonna come back. So like this is what we were talking about earlier this morning, guys. If you guys were here for this live session, the breakout V2 hit full TP, the momentum counter scalp hit full TP, every single liquidity trade hit full TP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The momentum pullback scalp hit full TP. We had like I think 7 or 8 entries today. So if you guys were able to be disciplined and patient to just wait for the entries to come to you, you'd be perfectly fine. So my main advice to a lot of people here is to don't succumb to changing your strategy just because your strategy is not working for like a couple of weeks or like something like that, because it's going to happen. Like the market's going to go sideways for a bit, but the cycles they always move to their next cycle. They go from a range, they go from directional to range to consolidation, and then back into a directional market. So just keep that in mind, guys. Moving forward. Because if you keep changing strategies, so for example, if you guys keep changing strategies, like for example, market's been ranging, right? So if you change strategies and now market is directional again, you kind of just you just go back in the same cycle. You're going to go from a strategy, you're going to suck. You're going to go to another strategy, you're going to suck. You're going to go to another strategy, you're going to suck. When you could just stick to one strategy and the market will come back to you eventually. So I'm glad that the market's starting to move again here. The volatility is still low and we're still in a bit of a range here, but it's not as bad as it was before. I mean, the market's starting to finally move directional, so I'm glad. Anyways, let me go make some adjustments over here. So we had some levels down here. Yeah, there's actually another entry that's currently running right there, Maddie, right? It's currently running, but like I mentioned, it's a little risky right now. Probably if I were to go for this, let me see if I can maybe get it for like, I'm gonna mark up the levels again here so I can see. So this would be the 100. And this would be the 20. Let me see where it's at. I need to review the trade though, because I didn't even see how it played through. Well, let me just make some adjustments here. Let me delete these. So let's see. We had price breaking close below this level right here. 1, 2, 3, came back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I mean, technically the entries here, it pulled back kind of like pretty far, like we were waiting for it. But again, it's still stuck within this ranged area. So I don't know if I'd be looking to take this just yet. I guess I could put a sell stop there and just catch it as it comes back down. Yeah, exactly. They don't say a touch entry and shot back up. I wasn't paying attention to it because I think now that I'm thinking about it, Maddie, I think this overlapped with the other entry, didn't it? So I don't know if this is one that I would personally have taken, because we usually don't. If it overlaps with, like, for example, this trade over here was already running. If it overlaps with it, then we don't really take the other entry until it's like completely done. So it has to be like fresh out or freshly new. I just realized we didn't even take a screenshot of the last one over here. So let me go over here real quick. And I'm just going to do this. Because I think these two here are overlapped with each other. Screenshot that. Right. Yeah, so technically there is another trade running right there. Let me just put this in the spreadsheet. Sorry, I got sidetracked for a second there. This one happened at 11/9/23. When did the entry come up? Entry came up at like 7:22. Let's round it up. 7:22. It was for sell when 300. Price was in heavy consolidation. Down to knock out all liquidity. All right, cool. Yeah, it looks like price is kind of just ranging right now. Back over here. So there's no entries here for momentum pullback scalp. I mean, price is kind of just consolidating right here. It's ranging within this area. Let me go back over here to our clean chart. It's pretty much just ranging around the 4-hour support. So the 4-hour support from earlier is still, I don't even know what happened to the symbol, but let me see if I copy this. Yeah, so this is the 4-hour support right now. Price is kind of just sitting around this area. It's not really too much. It's just consolidating around this area. Let me see if there's any new levels here. Not necessarily. Let's leave it as is. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could. Oh, actually, I just realized what time it is. It's 7:46, guys. So it's getting really close to 8 o'clock. Yeah, so Daniel said he's done. He said he's done for the day. Maddie said he's done for the day. I didn't realize it's 8 o'clock already. We had a pretty good day today, guys. Pretty much all the entries hit TP. Yeah, I don't think anything here didn't hit. I think everything pretty much hit for the day. Let's see. Williams gets currently on the 6th candle going through. Yeah, Maddie's done. Sorry, Maddie. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Gotcha, Steven. Steven can't change his account. It's all good, Steven. We'll talk about it later. But yes, unfortunately, Steven signed up for a swing account. He thought it'd be better, but it's actually a lot worse. And yeah, I think that's about it. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. All right, Nick, we'll see you here tomorrow. Looks like pretty much everyone's done for the day. There's no other entries here that are currently running. Everything is kind of just flat at the moment. You can see right here, price is just consolidating super heavy within this area right here. Not really much to work with here at all. All right, Vince, we'll see you back here tomorrow. See you, William. All right, guys, so I think that's it for the questions. Let me see if I didn't really cover everybody's profits for the day. So let's scroll up real quick. We have, so we got Kenny over here, total profit of 1,020 for the day, all wins there. We've got Maddie here, total profit of 120 across a couple of accounts and then 735 across his other accounts. Nice work right there, Maddie. So total profit about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 7, well over 3,000 for the day. So nice work right there for Maddie. We have Kevin over here, total profit of 39,900 for the day, all wins. Nice work right there, Kevin. We have Shannon over here, total profit of 5712 for the day. New accounts on Apex, so nice work right there as well. We got Vince over here, nice bounce back, Vince. So Vince made a total profit of 305 for the day. Great work right there, Vince. We got Delicia, total profit of 1,619 for the day. All wins there. Nice work, Delicia. And lastly, we have Madu over here with a total profit of 1,477 for the day. All wins. So those are pretty much all the profits from today's live trading session. If you guys have more profits to share, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, I think that's it for the questions for today. So, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. If you guys don't have to trade, which I'm pretty sure nobody does, I just sit out of the market. There's nothing for you to take here. Price is pretty much just consolidating and going sideways. And there's just nothing for you to take here at the moment. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Have a great